Dear viewers, you should have known about the extremely popular Samudra Manthan mythology. It's about churning the Milky Ocean by Devas and Asuras for the divine nectar. But do you know that this fake mythology was created by the Jewish Brahmins for destroying the original history of Shiva? Come, let's find out how. Everyone knows that the Brahmins destroyed Buddhism in India. But many don't know that they also destroyed Asivaham, the ancient way of life of India in general and Tamils in particular. They did it by ruthlessly killing all the Siddhas during the period from 3rd century to 7th century and subsequently destroying the real history of all the gods of Asivaham through fake mythologies. The gods of Asivaham were the ancient human Siddhas who governed the people in various eras and attained nirvana by winning over all the 5 senses. These gods in chronological order are Shiva, who lived in Kumari continent about 20,000 years ago, Murugan, who lived during the deluge of Kumari continent about 10,000 years ago, Lankan, Ravanan and Indran, who were the heroes of Ramayana war about 7,000 years ago, Krishna, the hero of the Mahabharata war 5,100 years ago, and Vishnu, who lived and governed India about 4,000 years ago. Before narrating how the Jewish Brahmins destroyed the true history of Shiva, I would briefly explain how they destroyed the original history of the other gods of Asivaham. The history of Muruga was destroyed by mythologizing him as the son of Shiva. History of Indra, the son of Ravana, was destroyed by a fake mythology in which both his full name Indrajit and short name Indra were cast as two different individuals opposed to each other and making them fight. The history of Krishna was destroyed by relocating the scene of Mahabharata from Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu to Delhi. The history of Vishnu, who was both an emperor of India and an astronomer Siddha, was destroyed using a fake Trivikrama mythology by casting the king Vishnu named as Mahabali against the astronomer Vishnu named as Vamana. I have given a very brief account of these only, and the full descriptions were narrated in many of my earlier videos. Having seen how they destroyed the original history of the other gods, we shall now return to the main theme of this video, the destruction of Shiva's original history through Samudra Manthan mythology. I would start with a brief narration of the Samudra Manthan mythology. The Devas, whose leader is Indra, lost their powers and were defeated by the Asuras. They then rushed to Vishnu and asked him to help them. Vishnu suggested churning the Milky Ocean so that the nectar obtained in the process would restore the invincibility of the Devas. As the churning is an arduous task, he suggested taking help from the Asuras with the false promise of a share of the nectar. Vishnu, however, promised them that he would see to that the nectar is shared only among the Devas by fooling the Asuras. The Devas and Asuras together churned the Milky Ocean. The first thing that came out from the ocean was Hala Hala poison, which threatened the life on earth. Shiva drank that poison to save humanity. As his wife Parvati stopped the poison by holding the neck of Shiva, the poison stayed in Shiva's throat. Because of the poison, Shiva's neck became blue and hence he was called Neelakandan. They then resumed churning and Dhanvantri came out of the ocean with a pot of nectar. The Asuras snatched it from him and the Devas were deeply worried. At this time, Vishnu takes Mohini avatar and snatches the nectar pot by seducing the Asuras and distributes the nectar only among the Devas, cheating the Asuras. This is the Samudra Manthan mythology. We can see the dirty Jewish mind in every aspect of this disgusting story. Stupidity, cheating, injustice, and using seductive women for political or economic advantage, etc. These are the unmistakable stamps of the Jews. We shall now see how this fake mythology destroyed Shiva's original history. I would first narrate his original history briefly. Shiva lived about 20,000 years ago in the Kumari continent. He headed the first Tamil Sangam and he developed a pictorial Libby for Tamil. He brought the consciousness about time and its measures for the first time, and hence he was called Kala Bhairava. He theorized that the explosion of supernova resulted in the universe that we live in and stated that all the celestial bodies are constantly in motion. To transmit this history to posterity, he is picturized as Nataraja. He coined the name Shiva Lingam and explained it as representing duality. That's why he is called Shiva after Siva Lingam. As he proposed the duality concept, he is called the god of creation, represented by Siva Lingam, and the god of destruction, represented by Yama. Shiva developed the iron smelting technology and it is transmitted as Ruk Veda. He developed the technology for making percussion sound equipments called Parai, Murasu, Udukai, etc. and the same is transmitted as Atharva Veda. He also developed the science of politics and the same is transmitted as Sama Veda. And other miscellaneous sciences like astronomy and medicine that he developed were transmitted as Yajur Veda. I had published a video on the original Vedas with the title Earth-Shaking Facts on the Four Vedas a few years ago. These Vedas were preached by him under the Kallala tree to four of his students, one Veda each, who created the poetic versions of the same for transmitting orally for the posterity. Let me repeat. He preached the four Vedas to four of his students sitting under the Kallala tree. This was a very significant contribution by Shiva to the humanity. Hence, his time under the Kallala tree is fondly remembered by humanity. Kallala tree is like a crossbreed of banyan tree and peepal tree, which is seen only on the mountains. As he sat under the Kallala tree while preaching the Vedas, he was addressed fondly by many names like Alakandan, Alamar Chelvan, Alamar Piran, Alamidatran, Alan, Al Nidalan, Alandurai Alavai Adi, Alavai Annal, Al Nidar Kadavul, Al Nidar Kuraban, all relating to Kallala tree. The reason why I am stressing about his time under the Kallala tree would be known to you at the end part of this video. Shiva then discovered Kundalini Yoga, enabling him attaining the cosmic wisdom which was metaphorized by his third eye. He then attained Nirvana and became the first god of humanity. This is a very concise history of Shiva. The Jewish Brahmins destroyed Shiva's human history and projected him as a mythical god. By destroying his human history, Kundalini Yoga could also be dissociated from him and destroyed too. Also, by destroying his human history, his Vedas could be hijacked and destroyed and be replaced by their own fake version. This is what that exactly happened. Why did they rewrite the Vedas? The name Vedas were very popular among the people and they had tremendous respect for the same, even though most of the people weren't really aware of its contents. The Brahmins used this information to their advantage. They wanted to fool the people that they are qualified to be the priests in the temple, which was a very prosperous and easy profession. What they needed was a document of certification to prove their natural qualification for the same. With that idea in mind, they rewrote the Vedas in Sanskrit, the contents of which sang the glory of many gods and the method of worship, etc. But it is worthwhile to remember that the original Vedas preached by Shiva were scientific documents on selected fields of knowledge as described already. Shiva being the first god who preached the Vedas, there wasn't a single mention of any god in the original Vedas. The fact that they delinked Shiva from Kundalini Yoga is obviously seen by the fact that Shiva's third eye is projected as fire-emitting eye, espousing the destructive aspect of Shiva. Shiva has more than 8 aspects and creation and destruction are 2 of them. True. However, the third eye is the wisdom eye only and it does not emit fire and it does not represent the destructive aspect of Shiva. Apart from delinking Shiva from Kundalini Yoga, by defining the third eye as an eye of destruction, they also tried to destroy the Kundalini knowledge itself. They did that by replacing the Kundalini process by a fake mythology called Samudra Manthan mythology. That means the Amrut called DMT that we harness in the pineal gland due to Kundalini Yoga is replaced by a mythical Amrut that the gods once obtained by churning the Milky Ocean. By this, they were trying to project that humans can never get Amrut, as Kundalini is nothing but the churning of the Milky Ocean by the gods. Oh, what a way to fool people! We shall now see how Samudra Manthan faked Kundalini Yoga. First of all, what is Samudra Manthan? Samudram is a Tamil word for sea. Sa plus mudram, samudram, samudram. Sa means big and mudram means urine. We know that urine is salty and sea is also salty, and hence samudra means big urine. Mudram is also a Tamil word. Uru plus thirai, uru thirai, utirai, mutirai, mutiram, mudram, where uru means secrete and thirai means sea, which connotes here as salt water. Hence, mudram means secreting salt water. Hence, samudram is a genuine Tamil word. They say that manthan means churning. They don't give etymological origin of the word manthan and simply state that it means churning. Actually, manthan means human, and it originated from the name of the soil called in Tamil as man, from which man originated. Hence, Samudra Manthan means Samudra human, who is nothing but Siva. Do I have proof for it? Yes. Siva is said to live in Kailash. Kailash means sea. Kayal plus ayam, Kayalayam, Kayalasam, Kailash. Kayal means fish in Tamil and ayam means sea. Hence, Kailash means sea of fishes. Siva lived in Kumari continent, which is a collection of islands in the Indian Ocean. Siva was the king of Kumari continent and lived in one of the islands. That was the original Kailash. After the Kumari continent submerged under the sea, Shiva's abode was shifted to Tirikonamalai in Sri Lanka, which is also surrounded by the sea, thus retaining its name Kailash. But recently, say around 5th century AD, it was shifted to the Himalayas at the same longitude by the Brahmins to destroy the history of Shiva. But his new Himalayan abode can't be genuinely called Kailash anymore, as this new abode of Shiva is not surrounded by sea. Hence, it is stupid to call Shiva's Himalayan abode as Kailash. Thus, Samudra Manthan was one of the names of Shiva, and it was used as a code name for churning the ocean, which replaced Shiva's Kundalini Yoga. Hence, Manthan does not mean churning. Samudra Manthan, Shiva, first preached the 4 Vedas sitting under a Kallala tree. Later on, he also discovered Kundalini Yoga for the first time. The Jewish Brahmins loathed both the original Vedas and the Kundalini Yoga. Hence, to destroy both, they created churning of Milky Ocean mythology and secretly codenamed it after Shiva as Samudra Manthan, as these things originally belonged to Shiva. What you see now is caduceus, known as symbol of medicine, but it actually represents Kundalini Yoga. The central staff is called Susuma Nadi, which has on its top a pine cone, which is nothing but pineal gland. The snake that is colored dark is called Ida Nadi, and the snake that is colored white is called Pingala Nadi. These metaphoric snakes originally lie coiled at the bottom of the staff. When we perform Kundalini Yoga, we raise the snake slowly, and when they reach the pine cone at the top of the staff, DMT liquid secretes in the pineal gland called as pine cone. This DMT liquid connects you to the cosmos and grants you immortality. This DMT liquid is called Amruta. The word Amruta is a Sanskritized form of the word Amirdam. This Tamil word Amirdam originated as follows: Avirdam, Amirdam. Avir means set free. Avirdam means the thing that sets you free. This DMT, called as Amirdam by Tamils, connects you to the cosmos, that is, it sets you free. Now, compare this caduceus with the churning of Milky Ocean. The Brahmins called the central staff as the Mandara mountain, which is nothing but the mountain in which Shiva lived. As this mountain is covered with a soil called man, and as Tarai means ground, this mountain was called Mandara mountain, meaning the mountain with a soil floor. Man plus Tarai, Mantarai, Mantarai, Mandara. Hence, the Mandara mountain, which was Shiva's abode, was equated to the staff here. As the Kundalini snakes are shown coiled around the staff, they were visualized as churning the staff by the Jewish Brahmins. Here, two different snakes called as Nadi and Pingala Nadi are coiling around the staff. However, in Ocean Churning, they showed only one snake. Why? The truth is, one can't churn the staff with two ropes. Hence, they had to use only one rope, that is, only one snake. It was Shiva who discovered Kundalini Yoga, and to pictorially depict that fact, a snake named Vasuki coils around the neck of Shiva. As Samudra Manthan is Siva, they obviously used Vasuki snake for the churning. Though they used only one snake for churning, they had to somehow represent Nadi and Pingala Nadi. They achieved this by utilizing two different kinds of people for pulling the rope on either side. The head side was pulled by Asuras, who represented Nadi, and the tail side was pulled by Devas, who represented Pingala Nadi. Actually, here the Devas were the ancient Siddha kings of humanity like Shiva, Muruga, Indra, Vishnu, etc., who raised Kundalini and hence called as Suras, who secreted DMT. On the other hand, the Asuras were the later period dynastic kings like the Chera, Pandya and Chola kings who did not raise Kundalini and hence did not secrete DMT and hence were called A plus Sura, Asura. A means not, Sura means secrete. Hence, Asuras did not secrete the Amrut called DMT. The Asuras were the mortal kings and the Devas were the immortal kings. I said that the snake that churned the Mandara mountain staff was the one which coiled the neck of Shiva and it was called Vasuki. Va plus Sukam, Vasukam, Vasuki. The Tamil word Va means come but connotes here as bring. Sukam means comfort in Tamil, the eternal comfort that the people who raise Kundalini enjoy. Hence, Vasuki means the bringer of comfort. Hence, even by its name, the Vasuki snake represents the metaphoric Kundalini snake. Thus, the Brahmins destroyed the original meaning of Amrita that we secrete by performing Kundalini Yoga by mythologizing it as a thing that got generated when Devas and Asuras churned the Milky Ocean. By casting the mythical ocean churning as Kundalini Yoga, they created the impression that we, the mortals, can't do Kundalini Yoga. However, unfortunately for them, they could not destroy Kundalini Yoga and the history of Shiva, as Shiva was a very ancient figure whose memory was distributed all over the world and cosmos too. Hence, the Jewish Brahmins failed in their mission. We would now discuss the Halahala poison, that is, the Alakala Visham that came first from Samudra Manthan. I said earlier that Samudra Manthan was just the code name given to the churning of ocean mythology, which was a fake replacement of the Kundalini Yoga that Shiva discovered. Samudra Manthan means the ocean man, Siva. I said earlier that Shiva first preached Vedas sitting under the Kallala tree, and a long time after that only he discovered Kundalini Yoga. Hence, the first thing that came from Samudra Manthan, the Shiva, was the Vedas. The Brahmins loathed the original Vedas as it speaks of the ancient and rich history of Tamils. I had already stated that Shiva headed the first Tamil Sangam, and Tamil was the first language of humanity from which all other languages branched out in various eras. According to the original Vedas, Shiva smelted iron, Shiva invented percussion sound equipment, and so on. By destroying the original Vedas, they could destroy the history of Tamils. Hence, they destroyed the original Vedas, which were written in Tamil, and replaced it with a fraudulent version in Sanskrit language. The new version was completely different from the original. The Jews possess one good quality. No doubt, they destroy others' history. But They keep the original history in an encrypted format that could only be understood by them. Yes, they preserved the fact that they destroyed the original Vedas. How? They preserved it through Hala Hala poison anecdote. Hala Hala is the Sanskritization of Ala Kalam. Kala means time, and hence Ala Kalam means time under Kallala tree. Tolkappiyam says that time and space are primary things which stamp an action or outcome. The outcome called Vedas happened at the time that Siva sat under Kallala tree, and it happened in the space which is the shade of the Kallala tree. Hence, the outcome called Veda is encrypted by specifying time and the space of happening. Ala here refers to Kallala tree, and Kalam means time and Idam means place. Ala Kalam plus Ala Idam, Ala Kala Idam, Ala Kala Vidam, Ala Kala Visham. Thus, Ala Kala Visham is an encrypted code name for the original Vedas. Oh my God, the so-called Sanskrit word Visham actually refers to the place where Vedas originated. The Jewish Brahmins call the place where the original Vedas originated as a source of poison. That's the meaning of Hala Hala poison. Oh my God, the Jewish Brahmins loathed Shiva so much. Oh my Shiva, I have solved the etymology of Visham also. Hence, Ala Hala Visham is nothing but the original Vedas, and the Vedas known today are the fraudulent versions created by the Jewish Brahmins, which enabled them to be the priests in the temple. Why then did they spun the story that Shiva drank that poison? They were actually pushing the original Vedas back into the same mouth which originally uttered it. That is, they made Shiva eat his own words. That is, the Jewish Brahmins symbolically expressed the fact that they destroyed the original Vedas. The Jewish Brahmins retain history through such symbolism. We have seen plenty of this kind of stuff when we decoded Sanskrit Mahabharata. The Samudra Manthan story further says that Parvati stopped the poison in the throat itself, and the poison turned the throat into blue color, and hence Shiva was called Neelakandan, Kandam meaning throat. What is the meaning of this part of the story? Kandam doesn't mean throat actually, and there is no etymology for the same. Hence, the word Neelakandan is an encrypted code name for something else. We shall decode it now. Shiva had uttered the Vedas, and it served its purpose in Kumari continent and even beyond, and guided humanity. Where are the original Vedas now? All the original copies of it had been destroyed by the Jewish Brahmins during Gupta period using water and fire. Hence, it is not to be found anywhere now, and if it can be found, it could only be found in the Kumari continent. But the Kumari continent submerged under the sea. Hence, as Kumari continent submerged under the sea, it can no longer be called as Kumari continent and shall be called as Blue continent. That is, Kumari Kandam became Blue Kandam, that is, Neela Kandam. By this, they symbolically mean that the original Vedas, which the Brahmins call it poison, were lost forever in the sea called Neela Kandam. That's the meaning of Parvati stopping the poison at the neck, which turned into blue, to be called as Neela Kandan. But why Parvati? As Parvati is the goddess of destruction, the submergence of Kumari continent is attributed to Parvati, who was already called as Nirutya, as she metaphorically poured the water that submerged the Kumari continent. Thus, Kumari turning blue due to submergence is thought to be due to the destructive goddess Parvati, and hence she is related to Neelakandam.